I think it's very safe to say that Robert De Niro is by far the most unhinged actor / personality within the film industry, within the Hollywood bubble, whatever have you, to the point that he dragged politics so much into his career that he really shifted away all of his fans, pretty much, that supported his past work, whether it was The Godfather Part 2, or Goodfellas, Raging Bull, etc., etc., and now he's just a washed-up actor. We know that The Alto is his upcoming movie that is already getting a lot of criticism, that is already being boycotted by Robert De Niro fans that are no longer really fans, so to speak, but I digress. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, Robert De Niro, we all know that he continues to double down on his overall ideology, like many other actors out there recently, like George Clooney, like, of course, Jimmy Kimmel within the television side of things. We know other aspects of this have a lot to do with the fact that there are a lot of actors that are really trying hard to cope with the fact that President Donald Trump is the new president of 2025. I mean, that's just a given fact now, right? And we already know that a lot of actors are only making matters worse for their own careers. They're really just putting them into this permanent position of getting stuck in a very deep hole where they really can't get out of there at all. But let's move on from all of this. Now, one thing about Robert De Niro is that we know that recently he's been really going on a lot of rants in light of promoting his new movie called The Alto. This is a movie, by the way, where he plays two mobsters in one film. Yes, he plays two different characters, and it seems almost slightly comedic in a way when you view the trailers and seeing De Niro talking to each other. But ultimately, let's get on to this. Now, with endless actors and actresses continuing to cope with the new presidency and just how the majority of the public ignored their politics, one actor in particular, like Robert De Niro, is beginning to lose all control when it comes to the reality that nothing is changing at all. De Niro recently delivered the following when promoting his film called The Alto. How dare our citizens get duped by a false president and just how reckless he can be? How dare they not question a man like that, who is so reckless that he has to use tariffs on other countries? The problem with our country right now is that everyone is uneducated and out of touch with reality. They call us actors to be out of touch. I think they are projecting. I think the American people are projecting. And it's so obvious the issues that they have right now by believing in a president like this. There won't be a country anymore in 4 years. I can bet on that. You can actually bet on that. You just watch what this man is going to do to such a beautiful country that President Biden fixed. The attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion is also another terrible act coming from both Trump and his supporters, who have no clue what DEI really is or what it really stands for. They just have no clue with what they are trying to abolish. It's ridiculous behavior coming from so many uneducated citizens that need to learn something already. This is what's wrong with society right now, is that they believe as if diversity, equity, and inclusion is a bad thing for cinema. No, it's the answer to everything and to bringing balance to this industry that has been around for decades upon decades. That's for certain. The people criticizing me over my politics are punks, gangsters, and out of control. They don't know how to follow rules or how to respect others. It's a disaster of what's happening in our country right now that it needs to be called out endlessly. The entire world is laughing at us. They are now viewing us as not just a weak country, but as a country that holds no education. People need to stop criticizing those in the film industry because they are very important people that understand society very well through research. They understand human behavior, and if it's anybody, it's actors like us that are able to see what's really going on with all this division in the States. So guys, before I move on about what Robert De Niro is spewing here again, let me just point out the biggest thing of all here is the fact that he, again, is calling the American people uneducated and misinformed, punks, gangsters. I mean, there he goes again with the gangsters comment, what he did, like, you know, almost a year ago at this point. I think it was like May of 2024, where he was like endlessly ranting about how supporters of Donald Trump are gangsters and gangster that. I think it's just ridiculous, the fact that you have to drag politics so much to your career to the point where it literally drove millions of fans away. They don't care about Robert De Niro anymore. I certainly have no respect for the guy anymore. Just for the fact of dragging politics into your career so much, it's almost coming off like an obsession, almost like he has a vendetta against those that are not actually supporting his view on politics, and that's just flat out wrong. It's messed up, and that's how many of these actors really are. You know, those like George Clooney, Alec Baldwin, Julia Roberts. I mean, the list goes on, and it's the same repeated nonsense coming from these actors and actresses that really just don't care. We know that Mark Hamill, another fine example there of exactly what's wrong with Hollywood, is that he put it out there that he does not care if he loses fans when expressing his politics. He even openly admitted that, well, my family and my friends tried to inform me to stay out of politics, but I don't care. That's what Mark Hamill said. This is exactly what Robert De Niro is doing right here, right now. He continues to destroy his career day in and day out. But let's move on. He goes on to state further, it's all driven by this one man that is clueless, he says, and unhinged and has one goal in mind, to better himself and his rich friends. I would say I am a proud actor and activist. I stand for what's real and call out what's false. Everything our government is doing right now is driven by the same gangsters and punks that want no rules in this beautiful land. So there he goes again, guys, with the whole gangsters and punks comment. He doesn't really seem like he wants to stop saying that. Moving on again, he goes on to elaborate further. We need to stop obsessing over deportations and the border, and we must focus on what's right for the whole world and how the US is viewed. I will never stop calling out all the craziness happening right now, and it's very important that our industry, the film industry, survives under this president that wants to silence so many here in the media. So this is what's interesting, is the fact that he's using promotion of the Alto Nights to drag in politics. Gee, I wonder why the Warner Brothers company does not want to work with him anymore, and why they fired him and axed him from any future projects, any future mob movies that he wanted to get involved in. We talked about this many times before, a couple of months ago, for those of you that have been along with us for a while now. Robert De Niro, again, really not making anything better for himself, for his career, and quite frankly for his past work, because now people are not going to respect him anymore, that they don't even want to watch his past material. And I've seen a lot of people express themselves that way, that they have no respect for this guy anymore, to the point that they won't watch Godfather 2 anymore. They won't watch Raging Bull or Goodfellas anymore. They just see him in a totally different way, to the point where it tainted his actual image in the movies. And that's happened across the board with so many actors, by the way. But overall, you know, this is an ongoing problem. It's only going to get worse and worse. I think that we pointed this out like 3 months ago, that once February settles in, you're going to see a lot of these actors beginning to truly melt down, because reality is now setting in that it's not 2024 anymore, it is 2025, and they're going to have to deal with this for the next 4 years, that's for certain. So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Robert De Niro, and yet again, him using the Alto Nights as a way to rant about politics. Truly delusional behavior as far as I see it, and it's only going to drive away people from seeing his film. In fact, I would not be too shocked if this is going to be a box office failure. But overall, guys, I would like to hear what you all have to say about that below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.